If you would like to grow things such as strawberry, lettuce, kale, tomatoes, and don't have access to a garden, this video just might be for you. I don't know what I would do without a wooden mallet, because if your pieces are not secured on tight, they will leak. I personally do not want to use a food-grade glue to secure the system from leaking, because I like to take my system apart at the end of the cycle and scrub it clean. An example of a food-grade glue, I believe, would be Flex Seal. Don't hold me to that. But just because it's food-grade doesn't mean you can actually eat the glue. This is my dreamjoy hydroponic growing system that I purchased off of Amazon. Amazon or any product mentioned in this video is not a sponsor for this video. I'm sharing this video to show you what I did to set up this system and how and what I used to run it. I do want to add the lights that I'm using to grow with this system are not water resistant or waterproof and should not be used around water. Just don't do it, because I did. If I die, I die. That has nothing to do with you. Life goes on, you know what I'm saying? I do want to share what I use to attach the lights to the system. This is also purchased on Amazon. It's 1 1/8 inch curtain rod brackets. Then I attach zip ties, which you should use a metal zip tie if your lights are running hot. These do not put out that much heat. These are not glued on, but if you need to use a glue to secure these better, just in case you're worried about them falling off, you need to use a food grade glue, and use a food grade glue if you use it at all in a hydroponic growing system. So not only are these brackets good to attach things to the unit, it's also good to secure it to the wall. As you can see, this hydroponic unit is maybe about 8 inches wide, so that leaves it more vulnerable to topple over. With the curtain rod brackets, you can secure it to the wall and give it some stability. And when I take the system apart to clean it, I just unscrew this and leave this part against the wall. These are not only screwed into the wall, but there are anchors in the wall to give it some more strength. I do want to go over a few things that you may or may not need if you decide to set up a hydroponic growing system. This is flex tube. I used the 3/4 inch flex tubing at 3 feet. It took 2 packages, but you could also use the 1/2 inch, which only needs 1 package, though I had to use the 3/4 inch because it has tin foil on for extra protection from light getting in the system. The reason you have to keep all the light out of the system is because algae will form. Though it's not a problem, it is a problem because it will take away nutrients from your plants, and it's not very pretty. So as far as me saying it's not a problem, if you see a little algae forming around the areas like this, you don't have to shut the system down. It should not be a health concern. Another item that you may need that does not come with this particular unit is a water reservoir. I used a 2-gallon food grade bucket, and I have to add at least another gallon of water after the machine is up and running and it starts coming out this tube here, because the bucket is large enough to hold the amount of water for the tank, though you do have a height barrier, so you cannot use a 3-gallon bucket with this system that I'm aware of. So I cut a hole in the top of the lid and stuck both tubes through the hole, and then I cover it with tin foil to help keep some of that light out of there. The pump did come with this particular unit, and it is also threaded through the hole as well, which this is a part of the pump, and it runs up through the top and pumps water throughout the whole system. So about the curtain rod brackets, once again, if you decide to attach your lights in a different manner, I strongly suggest at least doing it to secure it to the wall, or find a different way to secure the system to the wall. If you take a closer look, you will see what looks like might possibly be potting mix. It is not potting mix. It is a hydroponic seed starting plug. You cannot use potting mix in a standard net cup for a hydroponic growing system, though there are other options other than seed starting plugs, such as rock wool. A few other things you may need for your system would be a pH meter, a TDS meter, or an EC meter. I personally like the TDS meter for testing the nutrients in the water. I have not really gotten a hang of the EC meter yet. So I do know the ppm, which would be the TDS meter for growing leafy greens. A safe number is approximately 800 on the TDS meter. So speaking of the pH, you're going to need a pH up and a pH down. You cannot use any particular pH up and pH down. It needs to be hydroponic or plant safe. So regardless that you're growing food with this pH up and pH down, it is not safe to consume or safe to get on your skin. Another thing you're going to need is nutrients for your system. I'm currently using Maxi Grow to grow leafy greens. If I were to grow something like Micro Dwarf tomatoes or strawberries, I would have to up it to Maxi Bloom. You don't have to use Maxi Grow as a hydroponic solution. You can use whatever brand you would like, though please make sure it is intended for hydroponic use. I can't just go put bunny rabbit pellets in my reservoir and think it's going to be a safe growing technique. So on this table are definitely a few things you may need if you start up a hydroponic growing system, especially the dreamjoy off of Amazon. The last thing you may need, but probably one of the most important things, is a drip pan for your hydroponic growing system. I'm using a jumbo boot tray that is long enough and wide enough to support the system.